I think it's a big part of who he is. I think he's a competitive guy. I think he's a tough guy, and he does a great job of, balancing that chip by playing with poise. And he's been unbelievable in this run doing that.
Here, Brian.
Hey, Brad. Any change to the starting five tonight?
Yeah, we're considering it. We'll make that call right before the game.
Brad, towards the end of the year, you started trusting Jason with a lot more ball handling responsibilities. How much of that was out of necessity at the time, and how much of that was out of kind of his maturation? And then how important could that be now that Shane's not going to be here for the next few?
Yeah, I think it's really important. He is a guy that we utilize off the ball quite a bit, but has played more probably pick and roll and off different actions in the last few games than even before. And we need him to do that. We need Terry, Marcus, him, Al, to kind of be our primary ball handlers with Shane out. And I think the hard part about losing a guy like Shane is he's another guy that can handle the ball, play with speed and everything else. And then obviously defensively he's brought us a lot in this series as well.
What have been your points of emphasis on perimeter defense in the series?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious what we're trying to do with regard to trying to guard those shooters as hard as we can, trying to be as good as we can at making everything contested. And, I thought in Philly in Game 4 beat us because they just pounded us in the paint, and really went after us. With Saric posting, with Simmons posting as much as Embiid. And then, obviously it's a fine line because those guys are tremendous players. Then you have to make your call on what you do possession to possession.
Brad, no better than to ask about a Coach of the Year vote in particular, but Evan and Isaiah both came out pretty forcefully supporting you today on Twitter. What does it mean to kind of have guys like that? That it's one thing if it's your current players, but to have former players really vouching for you.
So first of all, I think you know me well enough that all that stuff is, it just doesn't. So, anyways, it means a lot more to me when I get a text message or you hear something nice said from a former player because those are the guys that are in the locker room and you're spending all that time with. But those guys know how much I appreciate and like them and enjoyed our times together, and so that means a lot. But like all the other stuff, like the coaching votes and everything else, the way that thing works is you get one vote. And I'm telling you, I looked at the sheet, and there's no way that I would have voted for me over any of the other 29 people. And the guy that should have won got it. And those other guys that get votes, like, they're unbelievable. I'm stealing from those guys all the time. Like, it's so incredible to have an opportunity to be one of 30. And I think it's a lot more important to just focus on competing with your team rather than trying to compare yourself to others. Because I'm telling you, if it gets to be a comparison contest, I'm screwed.